Welcome back. I'm Wavepunk, and this is day 53 of producing for a year. Today's a special day because we're going to actually listen all the way through the track in the video for the first time, I think, ever. And I'm going to do that because I think I finally completed the track formally. Where the track begins to where the track ends, there is now music in place. While we will add things and continue to flesh out the track, the kind of fundamental imaginative ideas are all in place. Now, where we left the track yesterday wasn't quite there. The end didn't quite feel like it actually had an end to it. The first thing I did today was to write in a staccato, spiccato string part to go along with the pads and melodic content that we wrote down yesterday. I then also, after the end of the recorder, have this instrument pick up the melody, and while we will have to flesh it out and mix it a little bit better, it gives us kind of a nice section after the recorder. Next thing I wanted to do, I wanted to add this analog dark bass sound that I've been using in a lot of other tracks and a lot of other contexts, and I wanted to put it underneath the strings. It'll be kind of hidden. Maybe you won't be able to notice it very well here, but it does, I think, fill out the bottoming, kind of mesh things together, make it a little bit less staccato. I want there to be a little bit less energy while still having some kind of rhythmic variation to hold you on to with your ear. So it felt like it kind of tied things together. Lastly, I put the echo chugs in. We did end up using this sound a lot in this track. I'm really glad we spent that episode way back in the early days making this patch. And I ended up using that to kind of fill out things throughout the end. It sounded really nice as a final sound echoing at the end of the track. This was the first moment my ear said, I think that's the end. And that's a big deal for me, to kind of get to that place where my imagination is satisfied that this is a good place to end the piece. And so I think it's time for me to, in a video, play the song all the way from beginning to end. I'll give you a warning, it's like 7.5 minutes long, so it's going to be a long time of just sitting there watching me react, or I think even at the beginning of the video, I'm not even in frame at the beginning because I'm just listening. But I'm writing down notes as I go as to how I feel about the sound. And yeah, let's take a listen. Okay, so listening to the track, I am happy to say that it didn't feel 7 minutes long to me just now listening through it. It didn't feel too long. I wrote down a list of some things that I want to do with the track. There's this sword sound effect of like a sword coming out of its sheath going shing that I think could be a really cool thing to add a few spots in the track, in the really intense parts to kind of almost imply like combat. Maybe some other combat sound effects could go in there at points of like explosions or gunfire, maybe. I don't know. So that'd be something to experiment with. More risers and swells and impacts. There's some, especially the transitions. I think there's some ideas that could be really good. I think going into the Game Boy section in the middle, this section here, it would be really cool to do a bit crush transition where all the sounds that are currently in the track kind of get crushed. Like there's like a riser and like a crushing, and it turns into Game Boy music. I think the section after the Game Boy, if you remember the episode where we wrote that section, I said it was really important that that section not feel like a restarting of energy, that it feel like it's really a progression of the fight. And I want it to feel like kind of a step up from the section before it, and right now it doesn't really. So I think adding some sort of mid-register, like chin 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 chin, sort of sound like a guitar chug could be really good. I don't know where I'm gonna get something like that. There's a sound in the beginning that we made to try and emulate that sort of sound. We might tinker with that a little bit, see if we can get it better. There is a problem right now where I feel like there's like a register that feels like it's missing. I feel like I've kind of got the high end feels good and the low end feels good, but I kind of feel like the middle's empty, but it also, every time I look at the EQ, it doesn't feel like there's anything that's empty, so that's something else. Maybe more drums at the end. Also, just the literal end of the track right now is a little messy. It is formally there, but it clearly is kind of sparse right now, which I'm okay with it being a little bit sparse, but I do want it to kind of swell up to a track of its own size. I'm not going to say I'm enthusiastic about the end of the track. I'm not confident I know I have a better idea right now. And maybe as we keep going, something else will jump out to me, but I kind of am okay with just sticking with this idea for now. I would love to, instead of having to be like a sound that's transitioning us from combat to victory, it being like a victory sound, like a ba-da-ding or something. I don't know what that will be though, so that's something else to think about. But yeah, this list will be things that we'll knock out in the next few episodes. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow.